Welcome to the SpeakEasy podcast with Idylli, where curiosity meets conversation and ideas spark to life. Get ready to dive into a world where your voice matters with your host, Idylli. Let's go.
Hello, 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 mi gente. What is going on? I'm hoping that everyone can see me. Let's go, because I seen some messages that said someone cannot see me. So if you can see me, type in the chat, please. Someone says they cannot find me, and I want to make sure that we are on here. Great evening, great evening. Hello. What is going on, mi gente? Welcome to the Speak Easy with Idylli podcast with, of course, your gracious host, Idylli. I'm super excited for today as I have a special guest on, and I'm excited to get her story because that's what we're going to be doing here on the rebrand of Speak Easy podcast. We're going to be showcasing, not only will you always have me, but we're going to be showcasing powerhouse individuals who are just making a difference in their community, who are striving to be their best version of themselves and just doing it all in service of others, right? And so I'm really, really excited for that. But before I do, I just want to, let me just confirm something really quickly. And I just want to make sure that we all know about what's happening tomorrow. Okay, listen. Y'all got my full attention now. My bad. I had to make sure the people are on. They're texting me like, hey, what's going on? I can't see you. So I had to make sure that people do not miss this message. But tomorrow, you guys, tomorrow is everything. Tomorrow is going to be the how to turn your story into income. Okay. And we want to make sure that we are full attention to this event. If you have not registered, you can register at speakeasywithidylli.com/story, how to turn your story into income. This is a one-day virtual event where I'm going to give my all. I'm going to be bringing it to the table. Your story matters. You matter. That's why I started this podcast, because I realized that my story matters, right? Kina's story that we're about to tell matters. And knowing how to tell it can get you to the next level. And it's okay to earn income off of your story, whether that be you going for a raise at your job, whether that be you growing your business, or whether that be you telling it right here on social media. Okay. And so I want to help you do that if you don't know how. Register today, even if you just want to learn your story and the fact that you have one. You don't want to tell it, but you want to learn it and how to really own it. Register speakeasywithidylli.com/story. It's happening tomorrow, Wednesday the 7th at 8 p.m. EST. I will see you there. Okay. I'm really, really excited for that. But now what I'm going to do, let me get this off of here, because what I'm going to do is bring in my special guest that I'm really excited about. And her and I connected through a mutual friend who hopefully is watching on here. I forgot to text her and say, hey, you better be on. Your friend's going to be on. But hopefully she is watching. Eslyn actually is how we connected. And we didn't even realize it, because then we connected on social media and we're like, I was like, wait a minute, that name sounds so familiar. And we ended up knowing each other from, through Eslyn. And so I'm super excited that she agreed to be a guest on here today. Let me add her to the stage here. Without further ado, Miss Kina, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Of course.
Yes, I appreciate
Good
you
to
being
be
on
here.
here. Thank you so much. And so like I was telling the people, so
Yeah.
we met, through social media. She hit me up like, hey, and then I'm like, man, I know that last name from somewhere. And we ended up realizing that we were connected through Eslin, who's a
Right.
friend of ours. But of course, growth-minded people, right? One of my mentors said that earlier, and it just clicked to me, because normally we would say like-minded people, but growth-minded people, because that's what we do, they connect. Like when you open doors, opportunities start happening and things just connect in a way that they're supposed to. And so immediately she was telling me about her nonprofit organization and what she does. And I was, so intrigued and so, touched by it. I figured, okay, what perfect month, what she's celebrating, what perfect timing to come on the podcast, then Heart Month, right? Because that's what she does. Like, she has a nonprofit organization. Besides the fact that she is an RN, she has a master's in science, and she helps her community in all kinds of ways. She has a nonprofit organization about heart health. And the thing about the SpeakEasy podcast, mi gente, is that we're going to talk about a little bit of everything each time, right? And so it's important to make sure that we're aware and we have awareness, no matter how young you are, healthy you think you are, unhealthy you are. It is important that we are aware of our bodies and what we need to take care of ourselves so we can live a long time. My grandfather, thank the Lord, he lived till 94 years old. If I'm blessed, I get to live that long. And I wish we had him a little longer, but he lived till 94. Right. And he passed with all of us in his room praying for him the way any person would really want to pass away. Right. And so, right. I know it was an experience I'll never forget. So we want to make sure that we get to do those things. And so that's why I'm glad to have Kina on here. Kina. So, okay, I'm going to sit back for a moment and I want you to really just kind of start from the beginning. Like, where were you born? Do you have brothers and sisters? Where did you grow up? And then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I was born in Louisiana. I have one sibling, one brother. His name is Kenneth. You all probably know him by Asthmatic on Instagram. I grew up all over the place. My parents were military. My mother, family's Haitian. So yeah.
Okay. So you have one brother, grew up in Louisiana, but you are military, so you pretty much lived everywhere, right? Okay. So growing up in Louisiana, do you have any like, homey cooking or like just traditions that you ever had?
Sure. My family is very tribal. I have about 56 cousins in the same age group, and we were all best friends growing up. My grandparents are both still living. They've been married 76 years.
Wow.
7 in March. Let's see, my grandfather is 97, my grandmother's 92. So as food, yes, we cook. We like to think we're the best cooks in the world. I do. I think I'm the best cook.
I'm probably thinking your grandparents are. I mean, they've been around, like they've been cooking from the beginning. So
yes, yes, don't play with us. Yes, gumbo, lots of Creole dishes, etouffee, jambalaya, you name it, we cook it.
That's awesome. So Kina said, "Wait a minute, don't play with us." So it's Kina's pray with us, but don't play with us, right?
Not in the kitchen.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I definitely was able to visit New Orleans once, and the food was incredible. Like I had an amazing time. And of course, we had to go to get them beignets, and they were so good. And that's actually where I fell in love with grits. I did not like grits. Like my husband loves them, and he would always try to make me eat them. And I'm like, no. And I love oatmeal and harina de maíz, which is the Spanish version of grits. I love that. But I never liked grits. And when I went to New Orleans and I had their grits, now I'm like a fan. Like they have the best grits there ever. And I truly, truly, truly love them. So I definitely
shrimp and grits or just grits? Did you have shrimp and grits or just grits by itself?
No, unfortunately, I am shellfish allergy.
Okay.
I cannot have them. Yeah. And a good friend of mine actually makes them real good. Deborah, she brought them to church one time. Girl, she opened that container and I had to walk out the room because that aroma was so strong. and I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I can't eat it, but I just eat regular grits like for breakfast or even with the thing with lunch and dinner. It was actually really good, but all of the food was good there. I'm just saying that's where I fell in love with grits and every day. So okay, so you grew up everywhere, then you came to Florida. How old were you when you moved to Florida?
So I came to Florida actually in 2015, I think it was. Okay. My husband, we would come on vacation and he had family here. And so he said, well, he wanted to retire in Florida. So I was cool with that. But then one day he said, I think I feel in my spirit, God is leading me now. And I thought, well, I'm not feeling it. You know, I am a traditional woman.
Listen to that one more time, right?
I am a traditional woman. I did, follow my husband to Florida. It took me about 4 years to really start to like it. Now I absolutely love it, but I've been here since 2015. Prior to that, we were in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. Definitely understand that. Even me growing up here 30 plus years, is taking a while, but you know what? We grew with the city, I feel. Because when you first come here, and it's not even in the 90s, it was not that city life and you needed a car to get anywhere. But now that it's changing into more of a city life, you can adapt a little more. So I can see now how you would like love it and stuff like that. And what area? You're in the Lakeland area, right?
Well, I'm in Land O'Lakes, like West Tapua area. Yeah.
Oh, okay, which is growing.
Yes, yes, I love it.
It's definitely changed since 2015. I'm sure of that.
Horses out here.
Right. Okay, that's awesome. And so what do you do for a living?
So I am a registered nurse. I'm also, I invest in real estate. I've been buying property since I was 19. So that was like my first career outside of the military. I don't know if you know, but I'm also a veteran, Air Force veteran. So I served in the military. Once I got out, I bought my first property at 19. And I've just been buying property since then. I've been a registered nurse I've been a nurse 20 plus years. And right now I'm still nursing and also doing the Hearts of Valor nonprofit and the real estate and homeschooling.
Let's add boss lady to that title. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about. Like there's so many of us out here winning, like just going for it. Like you bought your houses at 19, you started flipping them, you got into real estate, you were in the military, you took advantage of those benefits. Yeah. Kudos to you. Most people don't do that, right? So kudos to you that you were able to take advantage of those benefits, continue it on. And then you said you could have stayed there, but you said, no, now I'm going to be a nurse, which it takes everything to be a nurse. To me, the nurses are the doctors. You guys in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong. But the nurses are the doctors because you guys do everything, right? The doctors come in and out real quick and they do their part. And then the nurses really do everything. And you have to have a really good bedside manner, which I definitely see from you, from the conversations that we've had, to be a good, nurse. And so being a nurse, and of course, you also do the admin side of the nursing now too, right? Yes. Okay. So that's really incredible. Kudos to you. Now, I did see that you got your master's later. So you went to school, got the nursing degrees. What made you go back? Because I see you. When did you get your master's in science for nursing?
So last year I did master's of science in nursing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But to be honest with you, I've always been a professional student. I have multiple degrees. I love going to school. I probably will be in school next year. So.
Okay, that's good. And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I say the same thing. No matter how far I grow into my business, I'm always a student. Like literally, I was in class before this podcast, right? And so I was in class before this podcast because I'm never going to stop learning and growing. If you think you've ever gotten there, then you need to get back. You need to go back a little bit, right? Because you don't ever get there. There's always new levels. There's always, new things to crack, new things to learn. And so staying a student is in life, period, whether it's an actual school, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's having a coach, whether it's at work, always being a student, always learning, growing is important. So kudos to you. Congratulations on that. I can't wait to see what other, accolade you add to that last name, because as you can see is, how do you say your last name? I don't want to incorrectly say it. Lucombe, RN, BSN, MSN, CCM. I love that. I love that. So kudos definitely to you. Okay, so you're in nursing and you know, you have all of these things going on. Like, how you have children, you said?
I have 4.
Okay. How old are they?
So the oldest is 23. I have a 21-year-old. I have a 16, and I have a 7-year-old.
Okay. Wow, that is a big gap.
Yeah.
I know. You know, that's crazy. We're actually not that far. My oldest will be 20 and my little one is 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're actually kind of close there. A lot of people think he was the oops baby, but he was like really the one that we talked about. I don't want to say planned because all babies are planned, but
Yeah.
like, you know, that we were like, hey, let's have a baby. And we actually played him to play. Was it like that for you, or was he like oh, I'm pregnant?
Well, to be honest with you, we found out about my 7-year-old the day after we moved to Florida. Had I known, I probably wouldn't have moved, but
Well,
God's way of doing things. So,
well, maybe that's why God was calling you here.
right.
Because he was like, yeah, you're about to have a baby. It's time to raise him in Florida and, you know, change the scenery and things like that. Who knows, right? Okay, that's awesome. So 4 kids, congratulations to you. And so okay, so you're moved here, you're living here, you're doing all of these things, you're being a mom, you're wearing so many hats. How did you get into, we're going to go into now your heart nonprofit.
Sure.
How did you get into that?
Well, that was born out of passion from personal experience. I went into cardiac arrest in 2019. At that time, I was working for Moffitt Hospital, and I'm also doing hospice. So I had 2 jobs during that time, and I was in the master's program. So, but like I said, in 2019, I went into cardiac arrest, and it was just a really scary time. For those of you who don't know what cardiac arrest is, a lot of people confuse it with a heart attack. It's not the same thing. Cardiac arrest is when the heart stops beating and the oxygen is not getting to the brain, which causes you to collapse or become unconscious. So at that time, it happened to me. I was actually meditating and doing yoga when I collapsed, 4:30 in the morning. And thank God my husband, who was sleeping, but he said something told him to get up, and he came in and he picked the lock to get into where I was doing my meditation. And there I was. So I was, of course, rushed to the hospital. I'm treated. I had to do emergency surgery. And at that point, I really didn't want to talk about it. I wasn't very comfortable talking about it. If I had to be 100% honest, I was embarrassed because I couldn't believe it happened to me.
And I'm going to pause you for a moment because it kind of goes with what I'm going to ask. So you were saying you were meditating, your yoga. So you're pretty much living, you know, a healthy lifestyle. You're thinking you're good. You're doing what you got to do. You're at your peacefulest moment, right? You're not even running or, you know, having a crazy day. And it happens, right? So I can see where you would feel embarrassed, right?
Like
That's huge.
Yeah, almost like like a betrayal, because I've been a pescatarian for over 25 years, so I didn't eat beef, chicken, or pork. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking. So I'm like, how in the world did this happen to me? And I just did not feel comfortable talking about it. I didn't want to deal with it. In fact, the day of my surgery, I actually did a job interview after they rolled me out of surgery over the phone, and ended up starting a new job 2 weeks later, and just focusing on working in school, and not even really taking the time to deal or come to terms with what happened. And so over the years, when I would share, and I noticed that people were very interested in what I had to say. And one day I went live in 2021, which was 2 years after my event. I went live and on Facebook, and I shared, it was during Heart Month. And I had so many people in my inbox, telling me, oh my God, I collapsed, or I have congestive heart failure, or, I have issues nobody knows, And I thought, you know what, we've got to stop hiding. We have to talk about it. So I said, you know what, I'm going to share. I'm going to be open, and I prayed about it. And I said, well, God, just guide me. And so it led from me just being open and sharing with other people and offering advice to starting the nonprofit.
Wow. Okay. So I love that you said that because a lot of people think that just the traumatic issues of some kind of childhood situation, or if it had to do with any kind of abuse, domestic violence, that people are, not encouraged to, share the story, or they're embarrassed and they're ashamed. But here we are talking about heart health, right?
Right.
And it is something that it makes you feel almost inadequate, right? Like you almost felt inadequate and you didn't want to share your story and you were embarrassed. And kudos to you that you took that opportunity to go ahead and share that story, because look at what's happened from that, right? On top of that, and then the people that you even helped at that moment with that live, like the outpouring, because everybody's going through something. And this is why your story is so important. And this is why I wanted Kina to come on here today and, talk about the heart health, because we cannot hide, use your voice, right? We have a voice. We cannot hide behind what is embarrassing. My little son the other day literally was talking about being embarrassed. And he's like, I don't want to be embarrassed. It's embarrassing to be embarrassing. That's what he tells me, right? And I'm like, you have to find the goodness in being embarrassed. It's okay. That is an emotion that we process.
Absolutely.
It is all right to be embarrassed, right? And so I definitely had that moment with him the other day. And I'm so glad that, like you said, that of course we feel inadequate. We're working on our bodies. You're doing this. You're doing everything right. Right? You're doing everything right. So that just goes to show you, like, don't do everything wrong now because it doesn't matter. No, that's not what we're saying here, okay, people? But it just goes to show you that awareness is key, and just not being ashamed of our story and who we are, because it can help other people. So so it's this time frame. You did the live. People started reaching out to you, and you started to see that more and more people were in need, right? How did Hearts of Valor actually come about? Like, what were you just one day saying, oh, Hearts of Valor, that's what I'm going to call it?
No, again, I have a military background, so Valor means courage. So, in hearts. So I thought, you know what, heart of courage, because it's going to take me courage to start talking and start sharing, because I'm a very private person, like, being on camera, speaking engagements, all of these things are new to me. I'm very, very private. So I knew it would take a lot of courage to step out and do it, a lot of faith and a lot of courage. So that's where it came from.
Okay, well, two things. One, my bad. You know my accent, and I've been saying it wrong this whole time. So can you say that again?
Valor?
Valor? Okay, I've never heard that word. So that is a military word. And I did look up the meaning, but I didn't realize that that's how you pronounce it, Valor. So I do love that, but I do love that it's heart of courage. Courage is actually one of my values. So I value the 4 C's, and the first one is courage. And so that is definitely a big deal. I love that you put that in there. And I love that you said that you don't tell your story. So you can consider yourself kind of like an introvert, right?
Right. I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies.
There's a name for that. What is the name again?
Which one?
The name for that. There's a name for, like, if you're an introvert with extroverted tendency. I can't think of what it is right now, but recently my pastor had said it, because she's the same way. Pastor Lucy, if you're watching, put a comment on there if anybody knows what it is. Put a comment on there if anybody else is watching and knows that it's an introvert and with extroverted tendencies, which is good, because I kudos to you. A lot of people wouldn't have taken that step because of their introvertedness, because they don't know how to tell their story, because they're shy, because of their embarrassing, or whatever the case may be. So I'm glad that God really put that in your heart and just started to grow. So now you have the title. What was your next step? Did you know how to create a nonprofit? Did you know who to reach out to? Like, how did you do that?
Well, I did all my paperwork myself. And that's one of the perks of being an introvert. You tend to study a lot, read a lot. You're alone, right?
Yes.
So I ended up just doing my paperwork, and everything, came through. I had a friend that I reached out to Valtrinda, and I asked her if she knew anybody that had done it, and she said yes, and she had given me a number, and I called this couple, and they were like, well, they just gave me a checklist. Make sure you've done this or you've done that, and that was it.
That's awesome. And that's why community is everything, right? That's exactly why community is everything, because the people around you will be able to guide you and help you through, right? And so that's really awesome. So, okay, so you started the nonprofit, you said, I'm going to help people. How does that work? How do you help people? Where does it go from there?
Okay, so I started off doing just a lot of education for preventive measures. From there, I started doing health fairs, going into the community, doing free like head to toe assessments. We joined forces with other organizations to do like 5Ks to encourage, cardiovascular activity, to get people moving, which is the main thing with your heart. In order for your heart to work for you, you have to work for it. So that's one of my mottos. And that's one of the things that we say, keep the heart pumping. And in order to keep the heart pumping, you have to move. And so, that's one of the things we do. We do a lot of activities in the community. I try and do at least 5Ks, at least 12 5Ks a year. So
that's awesome. So for our people who are watching, who are in our local community, how would we see where one of those 5Ks are? Like, how do we get involved in a 5K?
Okay, so you can go to run.com, and they have like a list of 5Ks throughout the Tampa Bay area. And we also list them on our website, which is heartsofvalorinc.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is awesome. And how do you do the education? How do people get educated via your nonprofit?
Well, sometimes it's one-on-one where we have people that call and ask questions. Sometimes, like I said, we go into the community and we just do community talks. I'm also a case manager by trade. That's what I do as far as my nursing career now.
Right.
So I educate a lot of people in the community and people that are in different states about the disease process, disease management, things of that nature.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you have a mission statement here, and I put it up here because I really love a mission statement is everything to anything that you're doing. This is her nonprofit organization. I have one for my business. People have one for their jobs. Like even McDonald's has one. Like it is important to have a mission statement behind anything that you're doing. And so, your mission is to promote heart healthy lifestyles through public health awareness forums, resource dissemination, and community engagement. And that is such a big deal, the community engagement part, because that's where the people are going to come from that need your help, right? Like the community needs our help. Like we need to be more involved in what we're doing as far as like, it can be fun, it can be enjoyable, but we want to make sure that there's awareness out there because you're young and you taking this big step using something that affected you to now, help other people. That's just such a big deal. And I just want you to make sure that you realize how huge that is, that you're creating this platform where people can now come and get help, based off of an experience that you had. Kudos to you, Kina.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Another thing I see you always doing and promoting, this is interesting. People are commenting here. Well, I have to get with that last comment there. Another thing that I always see you doing on your Instagram and your social media is exercising.
Yes.
So you were already into fit. Do you feel like your fitness level had to go up another level because of this, or did you kind of just like, did you change your lifestyle? You already were living a good lifestyle. Did you change it?
So I was exercising prior to this. I think the difference is before I felt like it was a choice. Now it's not a choice. It's not an option. If I want to survive, I have to move.
We have to stop that. You guys, okay, say that again. You felt like it was a what?
I felt like I had a choice, like it was an option to exercise or not. It's no longer
now it's not.
No, not if I want to survive.
Not if she wants to survive. Mi gente, get that. Some things are caught, some things are taught. This is something that you catch. It is not an option if she wants to survive. That's not only her, that's me, that's you, that's everybody around the world. If you want to survive, if you want to live past a certain age, if you want to be healthy, if you want to make it, there is no option. Exercise and healthy lifestyles, moving your body is a necessary factor, right? Is that right, Kina?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think I said this on the last time, but I will say it again because it's just so impactful and it hit me so much. So, Kina, I had a friend of mine because I'm overweight, right? I've been overweight since my last son and I'm in the process of losing it. Like I just went a pant size down. Everybody see my stories earlier today. I'm super excited about it, right? I was super excited. I was like, when you put those pants on, I was like, oh my goodness. So I was so excited about it, right? And so, but a friend has said, hey, honestly speaking, do you know an obese? Have you ever met an 80-year-old obese person? And I said no. And some people have commented and said yes, this and that, but the average, you don't. And he said, because they don't make it. And when he said that to me, he's like, I'm just telling you this because you're getting older and it's going to be important for you to pay attention to that. And I thought, man, I want to see I have 2 grandbabies, right? I want to see them grow up. I want to see my other grandbabies come, right? And I want to live a better life. And in order to do that, I really have to start moving my body. Yes. Am I telling you that I'm in the gym 6 days a week lifting? No. Is that the goal? Yes. Right. But I just started moving. I just started walking around my neighborhood. Like literally, I just started saying, I'm going to go for walks. And they got extended. They went from 20 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour, and they just kept growing from there. And it's just so important. It's not an option anymore. And I love that you said that. Thank you so much that this is on record. It is not an option. It is necessary for your life, for your body. Your body was not meant to live unexercised.
That's right. You have to move.
You have to move.
Even dancing, you turn the music on, dance 30 minutes a day. That's your exercise.
Simple, right? It doesn't have to mean, don't get me wrong, muscles are everything and strength training is everything and you get to do that. That's great. But if you can't, just move 30 minutes, throw on some music, do a little bit of dancing. Like that is incredible, right? Do some walking, make sure you're getting your steps around your house and your backyard, whatever the case may be. It is just so important to be able to do that. So you have, so let's get back to, your nonprofit. You do have an event coming up, huh?
We do. We have a heart-to-heart luncheon in honor of Heart Month, and it's for heart survivors, and the rest of the community's welcome as well. But we're just celebrating just being here.
I love that. And I was trying to comment back to the people and I meant to put the flyer here. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
So here's the flyer, you guys. It's the heart-to-heart luncheon. If you're in the area, if you're not in the area, let me take the banner off really quick so that people can see it.
Yes.
The dress code is red. As you know, this is Heart Month, right? National Heart Month. It is for a reason that they have Heart Month, right? People like to tend, please do not get offended. Anybody, you guys know my vocabulary and words the way they come out. But a lot of people think like it's just old men who have heart attacks wearing suits coming out of work one day because they're stressed out. You know what I mean? And it's not. It is a national thing. It is women. It is young people. It is older people. It is men. It is all ages who have situations, going on. And so definitely, heart-to-heart luncheon, honoring survivors and educating the community. All right. Honoring survivors. So it's February 10th at 11 a.m. It is $25. The dress code is red, business casual. Okay. Does it have the... Okay. So in the link, that's where they would get the
address.
The address.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. When you purchase a ticket, you will get the address. Now, I'm going to have Kina on the comments of all of these lives. Make sure that she adds the link so that you guys can get access to these events. You can also, is it on your website as well?
It's on my website, and I can add it to the comments now.
Perfect. Add it to the comments so that everybody can definitely, get access to this, because it is going to be important for us to not only support but to be involved. You never know when you're going to hear something or need something that you will get from this, right? So it's for the support of the survivors, it's for the support of the nonprofit, but I promise you will get more out of it than you give out that day if you come to this event. So I'm super excited for that happening. That's actually this Saturday at 11 a.m. And besides this, I also know that you have a gala. Is that yearly?
Yes, in December.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute, before I say something, I forgot to ask you. That was yearly. I know it was last December. Okay, let me take this off the screen. So yearly you have a gala. So tell us about that.
So it's a black tie gala, and we get to come out and dress to the nines and just celebrate. We have speakers that come out. We have presenters, and we just share information on cardiovascular health. And we have a wonderful time. We have DJs. We have entertainment. The food's delicious. So.
Nice. Okay. You get to get all dressed up. I love that. Definitely, I will be there. Sign me up for a ticket this year. I'm super excited. Thank you so much. Well, Kina, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I would just ask one more thing. If there was the one thing, the one tip, like if you only had 5 minutes to talk to one person who you knew that something would, completely change your life in the area of your expertise, what would you say to them?
I would say, listen to your body, put you first, take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically. There's only one of you, and you need to take care of you before you can take care of anybody else. So I know we have this term, do you. I would say definitely practice self-care. Love yourself enough to tap in, do what you need to do for your body, for your mental health, your spiritual health. Take care of yourself.
Man, girl, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. I'm going to go to the comments on Instagram because it's kind of outside of where we're streaming. And I just want you to know that, people are here and they're watching. 76-year-old, God bless. They're saying about your grandparents. Awesome. Nurses rule. That's Lisa. That's my friend, Lisa Lively. She's a nurse. She's an incredible nurse. She has been in the field over 20 years herself. And so I see that someone said, yes, that is serious. Others are saying, let's go, icons. D Walker inspires with fire emojis. Somebody saying, great to hear your story, icon. Thank you for sharing your story. It's incredible. People understand and they feel this is very informative, life-changing. God bless you is what they're saying on Instagram. And we also have comments on Facebook just saying, hola, people saying, hi, ladies. And my cousin actually saying, this is interesting. Our grandpa has heart surgery on February 21st. They live in Chicago. I live here in Florida. And so, it's a thing, right? It's not just, a one person thing. And it's definitely a thing. So I appreciate you coming on here and telling your story. I did want to add for further engagement or any partnerships, feel free to reach this number. Feel free to reach this website. This is going to be watched on the replay. If you're watching on the replay and this brought value, hit value, you can follow Kina on Instagram at Kina Fit for Life. I should have put that on here as well. And your Facebook is just your first and last name, correct? Kina?
Well, it's Kina Lucombe. And then we also have a Hearts of Valor Inc. on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Perfect. So that website, you'll find that actual, they have a page for that. So you'll find that on Facebook and Instagram as well. And just support in any way that you can. Of course, anytime that we can come together and just uplift our community is everything. Okay. So thank you again so much for being on. I appreciate your last comments. Remember, when you're watching this on the replay, you can always reach out, ask any DM questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining Speak Easy with Idylli, the podcast coming on every week. I will see you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock for another juicy episode. Thank you so much, Kina. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Your energy is fire.
Thank you, love. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
Bye.